Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Called Shotscast under review. I'm Jason, and this time we're taking a look at Paizo's Pathfinder GM Core, their GM-facing remaster rulebook. Before we go any further, I do need to point out that Paizo has provided us with this product in exchange for review and content purposes. So let's get into it. The new GM Core comes in at 336 pages, which is a bit shorter than the combined lengths of the books that combined to make this up, the Game Mastery Guide, and the parts of the core rulebook that were withheld from the player core. There are much fewer changes or updates in the GM-facing rules in this book than went into the PC-facing options in player core. Aside from a number of missing items, specifically over half the level 1 plus alchemical bombs available in the core rulebook and advanced player's guide, deep backgrounds and gradual ability boosts have also not been included. It's likely the alchemical items will see return in player core 2 alongside the alchemist class. 2 bombs were available in player core 1 after all. Much of the setting info that was left out of player core has its home in GM core, adding a lot of the Galarian info that was in this core rulebook but pared down for player core. The biggest amount of changes in the book probably are collected within the treasure chapter, which is pretty large. Included are the already discussed alchemical bombs, but that's not the only change to alchemical items. Now, maybe this is in preparation for the upcoming remastered alchemist, which is often cited as the class most in need of the remaster, but alchemical poisons seem to be much weaker in the remaster than previously, with severely nerfed damage output and even a number of changed effects. For instance, Off Guard, formerly flat-footed, has been removed as a status effect inflicted by poisons. The Pinpoint Poisoner, though maybe a rare choice, now has to rely on someone else and getting into melee range in order to make use of the feat if they aren't a rogue taking advantage of surprise attack. Sorry guys. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Talismans have been reworked and are now much less restrictive. A lot of them no longer require any proficiency to use, and most of the ones that do still need it limit it to trained, bring it down from as high as legendary in some cases. Most of them are now also active instead of reactive, whereas before one might require you to use a free action after attempting something. Now, activating the talisman costs an action that often includes having you perform the maneuver with a bonus on your check. Additionally, a number of the talismans now offer greater versions at higher level with increased effects. Talismans were one of my favorite things that always felt like they could use a bit more and could be a bit more, and with the remaster, that seems to have finally come to pass. Needless to say, I'll be taking advantage of this part of the new book as much as I can. As I stated in my review of Player Core, I'm still disappointed the variant rules for rolling for attribute scores weren't included, but I guess that's something that I'm going to have to work out on my own. While each GM will have their own feelings toward the things that changed or were excluded from this book, for me personally, the talisman sections did a lot of the heavy lifting to bring me to an overall positive view of GM Core. Splitting the GM info from player info will likely have an impact though, as there are generally far more players than GMs. I will say though, that maybe by separating this book out, and in no small part to the layout and design, I found myself learning new rules that upon comparison with the core rulebook, weren't actually new rules at all. Many were even word-for-word pastings. So I guess that really means that what this book has going for it strongest might just be in its presentation. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks to Paizo for providing us with this book. Keep an eye out for more remaster reviews and chats. And until next time, I'm Jason. Peace out.